So I'm going to introduce Latin America first of all to you guys, and then when Ameen is back, he can go delve deeper into what it's like to study in Latin America. Because actually, Ameen lives in Argentina, and he's currently a student at University of La Plata in Argentina. So that's why he's hosting the Argentina session. Yeah. So about studying in Latin America, many people may know of the common countries in Latin America like Mexico, Brazil, and maybe Colombia. Those countries are really popular from Argentina as well, of course. Those countries are really popular from Latin America. However, many people do not know the benefits it takes or the benefits of studying there. For many Nigerians in particular, it's like an explored region. When you say, oh, study in Latin America, they're like, what are you going to do there? What happened to Europe? What happened to US? Have you left Canada? They might even pick China over Latin America. Not to say China is bad. China is a good place to study, but basically they don't know the perks of living in Latin America. And I'm going to be talking about some of those perks right now. But first, let's talk about like the major countries in Latin America. Most common countries or well-known countries in Latin America are Argentina, Mexico, Brazil. Those are like the top three countries, and those are like the major countries we are also going to be looking at in this series of studying in Latin America. And for Brazil, Brazil is the most populous mixed race nation in the world, apart from the US. It's one of the most populous mixed race nations in the world, and it's the most populous in the entire Latin America. It has over 200 million people, and studying in Brazil gives you the opportunity to blend into society. So anybody can be Brazilian, you can be black, white, Asian, anything. And what is the benefit of studying in Brazil? First of all, while studying, you can get a job, like you can work while studying. There's no limit, there's no restriction that says you cannot work while you study. People work while they study. Also, one of the major things for Nigerians or Africans in general is like long-term residency and citizenship. You can get married to a Brazilian and you can get Brazilian citizenship in 1 or 2 years. You can have your child in Brazil, so you don't necessarily have to marry a Brazilian. Just because your child is born in Brazil, your child automatically gets Brazilian citizenship. For you, as the parent of the Brazilian child or the Brazilian born child, you can get citizenship after getting permanent residency in 1 year. So because your child is born there, you automatically qualify to apply for permanent residency, which they typically give everybody who applies with the right documents. And then after that, after 1 year of residing there, then you can get citizenship. Now you might be wondering, how does that citizenship or the permanent residency you're giving birth? I thought we're talking about studying. Well, this is where it ties into. So many Nigerians want to go there to study with the plan to live there long term. And there are many countries you can study in: the UK, you can study in China, you can study in Russia, Croatia, Hungary, Serbia, wherever you are. But you don't have the opportunity like this in countries like you have in countries like Latin America, to quickly jump the gun through maybe just residing there and through like studying there or giving birth to your child there. You don't have that opportunity in all of these other regions, which means you are stuck with renewing your visas within a certain period of time. For example, you have to renew your visa every year, every 2 years, or every 3 years, depending on the country. And also for people who are older married adults and they want to go for like masters, which like we have people like that here. In fact, more of those people are interested in these countries than the younger generation. You're already planning to give birth to a child anyway, might as well give birth to a child in a country that gives you like citizenship. But to get there is the question: how are you going to get there? So which is where like using the study routes comes into. Apart from that, studying in these countries at public universities are actually free. So if you're studying your bachelor's, your master's, your PhD in a Brazilian university, for example, it's actually free as long as it's a public university. While private universities will cost you like between $2,000 to like maybe $10,000 on average. Public universities are typically free. The only caveat is that you would typically have to learn the language. But then for people who are going for postgraduate studies, you don't necessarily need to learn the language. Some of the programs are offered in English, so it's possible to learn entirely in English as well. And then for a place like Mexico, for example, public education for international students is not free. However, it's really, really affordable. And again, you can work while you study. You can get temporary residence after your studies. You can get temporary residence for 2 years, and then after that you can get permanent residency and then apply for citizenship. I don't want to talk about Argentina because Argentina is the one with the GCS offer. I want that. I want to leave that to Ameen. But apart from just like studying and moving on to working and then getting residency from your work or maybe giving birth to a child there are other opportunities. You can study there, and when you open your business, you can use your business to get permanent residency depending on the type of business that you register, and under the category that you register, you can use your business to get like temporary residency or permanent residency, and within 3 to 5 years, basically, you can get citizenship from studying in all these countries. And what the visa rates for these countries is not so difficult. They basically expect you to have certain things. If you have it, the documents, required documents, then you are most likely going to get it. The major focus for today's conversation is actually Argentina, and then the other sessions we will talk about the other countries. So over to you, please.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. It's morning here. Sorry, it's morning here in Argentina.
Yeah, they are 4 hours behind.
So, thank you, Victoria, for the introduction. My name is Ameen Intro. I'm a second-year computer engineering student here at the University, National University of La Plata, here in La Plata, in Argentina. So today I'll be talking about my experience of moving to Argentina, how to study life is, the economy, just a basic, a deep dive into Argentina, what it's like to live here. Argentina is the second largest country in South America. It is the eighth largest country in the world, and it is home to over 45 million people. Spanish is the official language. I think that's common knowledge. And there is a very, very, very vast diversity of landscapes in Argentina. In the north, you have the more indigenous looking people, and the center you have the white, very white people. Like as you know, that's the most common part of Argentina. And in the south, you have another set of indigenous people, and then the whites all living together in peace. So most people would think Argentina is just a white country, but Argentina is actually very, very mixed. It's not. There's the white people, the indigenous and white, and a small subset of the black population. But anyway, and then in the south as well, Argentina has the part of the Patagonia. It snows a lot in the south of Argentina. Just very, very beautiful landscapes. And tango, the football, the literature, the cinema, the architecture. Yeah, Argentina has a whole host of different things to explore. Why study in Argentina? Well, Argentina has world-class education, affordable. The public universities are free, like Victoria mentioned. A very rich cultural experience. As I move on, I'm going to explain to you guys why Argentina is a top destination and why it's a very, very good place to study. And for Africans, like Vicky has said, it is a good place to get permanent residency and ultimately citizenship. The top cities for international students, like we know, Buenos Aires, which is the capital of the country, uh, La Plata, which is a few kilometers away from Buenos Aires. It is the capital of the province of Buenos Aires. So a curious fact about Buenos Aires is that before Buenos Aires was a big city. Buenos Aires was a big, very big city. So the capital of the country, which is now Buenos Aires, was taken out of that very big city, a very big province rather, not a city, a very big province, a very big state. So the capital now is just it was taken from part of that state. So the state still remains. It is called the province of Buenos Aires, while the capital itself is called Buenos Aires, the autonomous city of Buenos Aires. So the capital of the province is La Plata. So it is just 56 kilometers away from Buenos Aires, and it's also a very big city. It's a student city, and it's very vibrant. Cordoba, that's also some like some 100 kilometers away from Buenos Aires. It is the third largest city in Argentina, and Rosario as well. Curiously, Rosario is where Messi was born. That's the fourth largest city in Argentina. And then Mendoza, Mar del Plata, Santa, those are other important cities in Argentina with sizable student population. But for a Nigerian coming to Argentina, it is very likely, it is the most probable that you will be going to school or in Buenos Aires or in La Plata, because those are the two major cities, especially for work, for opportunity. So, yeah. Like I said, public universities in Argentina are free. You are not paying anything, and there's a very the students' unions will support you in anything you want to do. They are very supportive, very empathic. So the common public universities are University of Buenos Aires, which is called the UBA, the UBA, the UNNP, the National University of La Plata, which is my university, the National University of Cordoba, which is the UNC, and the National University of Rosario. So those are the five main universities foreigners go in Argentina when it comes to Argentina. And then we also have private universities, which are not free, but also affordable. They have less student population, and so they cater to you more, to your needs more, like in every private university. So, Torcuato de Tela University is in Buenos Aires. It's affordable for a private university. I think they charge between 2,000, 2,500 per year. University of San Andres, it's also a public university in Buenos Aires, with which the prices are about 2,000, 2,500 as well. It depends on the cost of study and the amount of courses to be taken per year. Academic excellence. Three Argentines have won the Nobel Prize for various awards, especially in medicine. The Argentine medical field is very high quality, renowned in the world. So if what you want to study in Argentina is medicine, for example, you can rest assured that your degree will be recognized all over the world. Law, engineering, arts, they're all highly recognized all over the world, Argentine degrees. So yeah, you guys should be rest assured of the quality you're going to be getting. Although if you're going to be studying law in Argentina, you'll be studying Argentine law, not other kinds of law. So you have to like do if you go to another country, you have to learn the law of that country apart from the degree you have. But anyway, that's by the way. Next slide, please. Like I mentioned, the popular programs are medicine, nursing, pharmacy, life sciences, biology, zoology, botany, geology, or the life science option. Uh, Architecture, arts, humanities, languages, business and law. You have the IT, economics, law, engineering. Yeah, everything you can get in Europe, you can get here in Argentina, or even more, in my opinion. Because, like Vicky mentioned, the visa regimes here are much more easier than in Europe. And there's no, really not a lot of panic is about, oh, I have to renew my visa. If not, they will deport me. In Latin America is much more calmer because historically, America in general, North and South America are they are called the New World. They were discovered much recently, and it's an immigrant continent. Many people immigrated from there, from Africa, from Europe, from Asia. So it is like a melting pot. If you're an immigrant in Latin America, it's much easier to assimilate than other parts of the world. So that is one of the other perks of living in Latin America. Even I, as a black guy in Argentina, where many people think Argentina does not have black people. I'm very happy here. I've never had any case of racism. I'm enjoying my time here. I've been here a year and almost 4 months now. So yeah, no issues at all. Spanish language programs. Yeah, Argentina is a Spanish-speaking country, and there are various Spanish language programs you can choose from if you want to study here. I'm going to expatiate on that later. Next slide, please. So most bachelor's degree programs here are from 4 to 6 years. There are some differences in the way the system works in Nigeria and Argentina. For example, some courses that are like 4 years in Argentina, most science courses in Nigeria that are like 4 years are 5 to 6 years in Argentina. For example, I know somebody studying biochemistry. Biochemistry in Nigeria is a 4 year course, and it is not a professional course in Nigeria. But here in Argentina, if you study for 6 years, just like medicine, and they write exams, they write, and they work in hospitals, like it's a professional degree here, just like geology as well, and some other life sciences. So, but basically between 4 and 6 years. No course exceeds 6 years. The master's between 1 or 2 years. Most are taught in English. So if you're going to come here for a postgraduate degree, you don't really, well, you will need to learn the language in order to assimilate better. But for your study, you can still learn in English. Most courses will be in English for postgraduates. But for the bachelor's degree, all courses are in Spanish. Every course, they are not in Argentina. There are no courses taught in English. So if you are going to come here, you have to learn Spanish. That's yeah. And then the doctorate as well, 5 years, just the normal duration in other parts of the world. Then there are the short-term options. You can do a diploma and associate degree, 2 to 3 years, just like in other parts of the world. A language courses from 4 months to a year, depending on what you want. Just like any other place. And then the intakes, March to April. April just passed now. So the next intake now is from July to August. So anybody that wants to come has to start preparing their documents now. And then in order for them to enter with the July, August intake. Next slide, please. Like we all know, in order to get admitted, we need documents. Just like anywhere in the world, your passport, your transcript, certificate, the personal statements. The personal statements will be for private universities because for public universities here, anybody can enter. Like there's 100% admission rates. There are no limits. In Argentina, I'm talking about Argentina specifically. Education here is a right, it's not a privilege. So even though you have your secondary school results were not that good, if you apply here, then you still get admitted. So the only thing you have to do is just to focus on university education and study enough so that you will cope. But anybody can enter the university here. There are no limits. That's one of the good things Argentina has. Your recommendation letters, if you are going to study a postgraduate program from your lecturers in Nigeria, and your language proof. That's that's extremely important for undergraduate study. Like I said, for postgraduate, it's not really important. So for master's degree, your bachelor's degree, your transcript, your recommendation letter, statement of purpose, research proposal, your doctorate, your research proposal, your previous academic work, and all master's degree. Yeah, that's basically it. Next slide, please. So campus life in Argentina. One thing about Argentine universities is like it's not like they're not like Nigerian universities. I've not gone to all universities in Argentina, but from my experience, from universities I've gone to, they don't have big campuses like in Nigeria. So each faculty is divided into separate parts of the city. So you have, for example, faculty of engineering in one place in the city. You have faculty of medicine in another place. So it's like that. It's not like a big campus in Nigeria. So that was the culture shock I had when I came here. But apart from that, basically the same thing in Nigeria. You have the student unions, they conduct elections, you go to class, you meet up. The basic student life in Nigeria, so there are events, festivals, special activities for people from different backgrounds and nationalities. There are libraries, research facilities, there are football fields, you can dance tango. There are various activities to participate in the public universities, especially, most are free, and They're very accessible. So there's no issues at all. There's not a lot of African organizations here because there are not a lot of African students, but there's a Senegalese association here because the largest number of Africans in Argentina are Senegalese. So there's some Senegalese student association and workers association. But apart from that, what you have the most is people from other Latin American countries, the Venezuela Student Association, Colombia, Chile, and the likes. But the good thing is you can always fit in. So when you make friends, people start inviting you. And if you have more Nigerians, then we can actually create our own Nigerian student association as well. I hope you are able to have that in your future. All right, next slide. Yeah, 100% admission rates. Yeah, for the public universities. Yes. The cost of studying. This is the elephant in the room. The Argentine economy lately has, well, like everywhere in the world, has been undergoing some sort of recession. But if you have the living expenses, I'm going to start with the living expenses first. For me, I spend like between $300 to $400 per month because I live in a low cost house. So I pay my rent, I spend on transport, I buy food, and I have some scholarship from the school, the public university that I attend. So that's why my cost of living is that low. And I also live in La Plata, which is much cheaper than living in the capital. So I spend between 300 to 400 in a month for my living expenses. My rent is like $250 per month, between $200 and 250. It varies anyway, depending on what I get from the scholarship, the amount of food I consume in a month. So between 300 and 400, like I said. So for others, it depends on your needs. It depends on various factors. So, and it also depends on what you need. So, but I'm sure you won't be spending more than 500, $600 in a month. The tuition fee, I've talked about that. The public universities are free. The private are between 2,000 and 10,000. So, yeah. Next slide. So the accommodation options in Argentina. So the cheapest one is called a pension. A pension is basically a house with many rooms, and each person living in the house rents a room in the house, and they pay rent. So they share toilets, they share kitchen, they share the veranda. Yeah, so that's the cheapest type of house. And then you have the apartments. So you can rent a one-room apartment, a self-contained apartment. Yeah, a shared apartment, yes, the pension. You have self-contained, 3 bedrooms, however you wish. And then the on-campus accommodation is only available at my university. There's no other university in Argentina that has a school hostel. So that's also limited. I think they have like 500 places per year. It's limited and competitive. And they only grant it to you based on your financial ability. They are going to prove that. So that will come later. But if you are going to come to Argentina, the best way is just to have your own money to rent your own apartment. So because it's not really a good idea to focus on the off-campus apartment. But any of the on-campus apartment, but anyway, it's just an option to be considered as well. That's what I'm mentioning. Private rentals as well, Airbnb. So yeah, there are various options depending on your budget and your needs. The standard amenities, Wi-Fi, heating, hot water, laundry facilities. Yeah, almost all houses have that. And the Wi-Fi here is unlimited. It's not like in India where you do unlimited subscription 4 times in a month. MTN, I can see you. uh, Next slide, please. Yeah, like I said, most American countries in general, North and South American countries, are apart from the US. The US was like that before, but they are immigration countries, so you can come here on any kind of visa, and you can work. In the Argentine constitution, especially, there's no difference between a foreigner and a citizen. The only difference is that as a foreigner you cannot vote. But apart from that, you enjoy every right a citizen enjoys. So that's why you can study for free in Argentina. That's why you can do the things an Argentine can do without being a citizen. So that things Argentines can do, and you can also do includes working. There are no limits to working. You can work however you like. Nobody will say you can only work 20 hours in a week. You can only do this. You can do as you like. You can't do as you like, but you can work as you like without fear. So after graduation in Argentina, your student visa allows you to, after 2 years, you can seek for citizenship. You can apply for citizenship in Argentina. Argentina has one of the lowest, after other in other countries it's like 5 years, but Argentina, after 2 years, you can apply for citizenship. Although terms and conditions apply, but generally, after you, now, with the immigration amendment they did to their laws, you cannot leave the country within that 2 years. So if you don't leave the country within 2 years, after 2 years, you can apply for citizenship in Argentina. So the process is to take like another 2 years more. So if it comes to Argentina this year, you can get citizenship in like 4 years. So that's basically summary of that. Student visa requirements, you need the acceptance letter, your admission letter, your people funds, health insurance, and your police character certificates to show that you don't have any criminal record in Nigeria. That's very important with the Argentines immigration. Now you also have to show that you have no legal cases ongoing in any court. So you have to go to the federal high court in Nigeria and swear an affidavit that you don't have any criminal case in. So apart from that, that's basically it. The requirements are clear. You just have to follow them in order to get the visa, in order for the visa to be stress free. Next slide, please. Oh, I didn't talk about religious freedom. Religious freedom. Argentina has, you can practice any religion you want in Argentina, although Argentina is a Catholic country, but you can practice any religion you want. Postgraduate options. If you also graduate with something good in school, uh, the schools may offer, your faculty may offer you a position. It all depends anyway on the availability. But yeah, there are options you can stay back and teach. I have a Nigerian friend who came to do his master's in Argentina. He came in 2018, and then he also did his postgraduate as well. Now he's a lecturer at the University of Madrid. That's another city for it. He lectures computer science there. And he's also married. He married a Venezuelan lady and he's a citizen already. And he has a kid. So yeah. And one other curious story is that a week after I came to Argentina, I was dressed like a Yoruba man, and I saw an Argentine lady. She stopped me and asked if I were Yoruba, and I said yes. And she told me her husband is Yoruba as well. And I thought to myself, Nigerians are everywhere. You think there are not a lot of Nigerians in the country, and you find out there are a lot. So the Nigerian embassy told me that there are like 700 to 800 Nigerians here in the country, and not including undocumented ones. So there are a lot of Nigerians. It's just that the Nigerian community here is not as closely knit as in the UK, but they are Nigerian. So yeah, yeah. Next slide. I think that's all.
So someone asked you a question. Is there
Yeah,
an
is
age
there age
limit
limit?
for yeah?
No, there's no age. There's no age limit here. You can be 60 years old and still enter. You can still enter undergraduate degree set. Like I know students who are studying law and they are like 60 years old here. Although they are
Only foreign
Argentine.
students?
No, they are not foreign. But what applies to foreigners applies to what applies to citizens applies to foreigners here. And anything apart from citizenship matters or voting matters. So there is no discrimination at all.
Someone asked if
So
they can study in English.
well, you can study in English. in a postgraduate degree. But in an undergraduate degree, no. Every course in Argentina is in Spanish. Even in private university, every course is in English. That's
It's in Spanish.
it's in Spanish rather. Sorry, it's in Spanish.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I want to ask you your own questions because your story to going to Argentina is quite peculiar because I know you had to learn Spanish. Like
Oh
tell
yeah.
us about the experience, how you started, how you first of all came and decided to go to Argentina and then how you started to learn Spanish and all of that.
Okay. Um, to be honest, I started learning Spanish long before I even conceived the idea of going to Argentina. I love learning languages and had promised myself I was going to learn Spanish someday. So I started in December 2022 to learn Spanish. So I learned and learned and learned. I got proficient. In fact, I even passed the proficiency exam, which I did at the Spanish embassy in Abuja. So because I could speak Spanish, I started looking for schools in Spanish-speaking countries where I could move to. I looked at schools like in Spain, looked at schools in Mexico, looked at Colombia, uh, Argentina as well. I looked at the top best universities in Latin America. So it was then I realized that Argentine schools are free. Argentine public schools are free. So, and then I decided to put my focus on Argentina, and I reached out to the embassy, asked for the visa requirements, and started gathering them one by one. So after I got them, I did the interview at the Argentine embassy, and then I got the visa. I got the visa in January 2025, and then I came in February 2026. February 2025, rather. Sorry.
Nice. Nice. And one of the reasons why like this is a good destination is the fact that you can get citizenship even I'm not sure if they heard you clearly, but even while you study. So I
Yes,
don't know if you want to expatiate on that. Like the 2 years that let's say you're doing your master's degree. I think 2 years is like minimum for most programs, apart from language. The 2 years you used to do maybe master's or a bachelor's degree, which is like 4 5 plus years your studying time counts, right?
yes. So in Argentina, there are three types of visa categories. There is the transitory visa, there's the temporary visa, and then the permanent. The transitory visa is for people who are studying for less than a year, and for tourists, and for people who are transiting the country. So those ones will not, they won't grant you, even if you stay in the country for 2 years, it will not count towards citizenship. But a student visa gives you temporary residency, which counts towards citizenship. So if you're studying a 5 year degree program, after 2 years, you can already apply for citizenship. So even without finishing your degree yet. So that's how Argentina is. And like I said, in Argentina, you have the same rights as an Argentine, no matter where you're from. So you can study, you can work and study. There's no limit at all. In fact, you can work 24 hours in a day if you like. Nobody will ask you. It's just you that will know that okay, I have to pass my exams, I have to do this. But yeah, there's no limit whatsoever. Uh,
Mm.
Studying Spanish at public universities. That's well, most public universities in Argentina don't offer uh, well, they offer Spanish courses, but not as degree programs. So if you are going to come here to study Spanish, you'll be given a transitory visa. That transitory visa will not work for you to not to apply for citizenship. So I don't know, Vicky. I don't know if you mentioned it to them, but the universities in Argentina, private universities, they'll allow you to come here without knowing Spanish, and they are going to teach you Spanish themselves. That's one of the options. Another option is starting to learn Spanish even before you leave Nigeria at all, so that
Mm.
you won't.
So what is like a good
I think
okay.
the good. the good plan is to like starting to learn Spanish before you come to Argentina at all. So you will not waste a year learning Spanish before you even start a degree program itself.
Mm.
So the place is to just start. So when you start and you already start and you know some things, when you come, you're able to you have more courage to speak to natives, and by that you'll be able to like acquire the knowledge easier rather than somebody that does not know anything. Because if you don't know anything, you'll be shy to even speak at all. So you better to start. You can start actually in Nigeria and then continue start in Nigeria and then continue in Argentina. But it's just to start something, learn something, and learn to a good level, and then perfect it when you come to Argentina.
So now that you mentioned Spanish, because as much as Argentina is a nice destination, tuition is free at public universities. Your study time counts towards like citizenship. So even while you're studying, you can apply for citizenship. You can work while you study. The major barrier is language. And now you said that they should learn Spanish, but people want to start coming like right this minute because I mean, these things with moving abroad or traveling abroad or studying abroad, most times, like it's better you do it now because later might be more expensive. I mean, considering the situation of the global
And
economy and
and
Nigerian
laws may change.
economy. True, laws may change. So what do you advise they do from now till like from now, like saying that they want to maybe come
To
like
July.
July, August?
So the best bet will be to like start learning Spanish now. Start now.
What?
In fact, why? Because one thing is that in order to get the visa, even though the school says you can come here without learning English, it shows good intent. It is good to show to the consuls that are interviewing you for the visa that you at least know some things in Spanish. Not just not just hello, how are you? Like you can actually hold some conversations. And the consul will know that okay, this person actually learned the language of our country before he came. So that's a very, very, very big factor. Even my friend who came here to study masters, he came here thinking that I said married in Venezuela. He actually learned some Spanish and he maintained some conversation with the consul. And they were actually impressed by that effort he put in. So even though your paper says you can come here without knowing Spanish and learn here, it's better to actually do something because you'll be spending a lot of money to come here. What's in the case you get denied your visa? So if you have to do anything like that counts towards the favorable results, and one of those things is to learn Spanish. Even though you have a low level, it's always good to show intent, to show some efforts in the country you are going to. It's just like somebody who comes to Nigeria to learn and does not speak any English or does not even know any local language. He just came and expects to just assimilate like that. No. So, but if the person shows that they can actually speak some English or some Yoruba, self, depending on the region that they are from, or some Igbo, some Hausa, okay, this guy actually put some effort. Okay, I like him. Let us allow him come in. You get so something like that.
Okay, so if I understand you clearly, you are saying that whoever is applying to Argentina, like for this coming intake, let's say July, August, right? They
Mhm.
should
Yes,
go ahead and apply for the July, August.
yes,
So they will be going for language programs at private universities. However, while this process is ongoing, they should start learning Spanish. But then I have a
yes.
question. Some people may not feel confident to learn Spanish. Is it like, can you share resources? Can you teach? Like, is that something you can help people, help us or help people with? Help us, me to involve me. Help us with, is there
Okay,
something you can
okay,
help us with when it comes to like Spanish or maybe the process? For example, you mentioned the admission process, right? And yeah, Vhabily Education, what we do is study abroad. So I mean, I want you to shed more light on that because after all this is said and done, I don't want our participants to leave with questions that, oh, so what is my next step? So I want them to know that, can you teach Spanish or can you share resources with Spanish? Are we going to teach them Spanish? Is there like, when we are going to, let's say they contact us to process it for them, right? What are we going to do for them as part of the processing? Yeah.
okay. For the Spanish, there are two options. I can share resources. So it is up to the intending the intending Argentine comma to learn themselves, or I'm also a Spanish teacher. I have like 6 to 7 students I have under me that I'm teaching Spanish, mostly Nigerian as well. But they are
Wow.
some of them want to go to other Spanish speaking countries. So yeah, I can teach as well. I teach Spanish. So any option is fine. Depends on what works best for you. If you can learn yourself, fine. You can work with resources. That's fine. And if you like personalized instruction as well, I can also offer that. So it depends on what
Okay,
you want.
so okay. Okay, one more question, please, because I feel like we've not really touched on this point. So you broke down the different parts. So you said $2,000, you said maybe private schools, for example, $2,000 a year, like minimum budget, right? Maybe or
Mm-hmm.
public school is free. But public school, they need to learn Spanish. So if they don't know Spanish now, we're looking at the private school for the language programs. But my question is, how much in total would they expect to show for proof of funds when it's time for their visa? Because that's an important aspect of visa success.
Well, for now that things, the world economy is complicated, I would suggest maybe like something above 25 million, above 25 million at least,
So okay, but are they going to spend that 25 million, or is just have it to show that you have the money?
just to have it. Of course, you won't spend 25 million, unless you're an Odu. You won't spend 25 million in a year. That's a lot of money. But yeah, just to
Okay.
show that they are, if you can, more than enough is the best. Show that you have more than enough.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much. I mean, it was a pleasure having you. It was a pleasure speaking with
Thank
you.
you.
And or do you have any other thing you would like to say?
Uh, no, if anybody has any question, they can drop it in the comment section. I think
Or they can reach out to us verbally and then we
yes,
will.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Reach out to Vhabily and we'll respond to your your questions ASAP.
Well, for me, I'm going to ask you a personal question. Can you maybe post on social media? Can we expect like a social media post, like videos from you saying this is how life is in Argentina, just to, satisfy our curiosity to see if when we want to apply or if we want to apply, how it's going to be.
Okay, videos. Okay, I actually have some videos of me in Argentina speaking Spanish with Argentines. I'm going to share that. I didn't post it on social media, but it's just like a personal video of me. I can share it with you later so you can share it to the participants. I'll share it
Oh,
with you after the call. And I'm going to
okay.
try to make more videos now. I'll start trying to make
Yes,
more videos.
please.
Thing is, I am not really a social media person like that. And uh, I take a lot of videos and photos, but I prefer to keep them for myself rather than posting. But anyway,
But
I'm just posting more
mm,
now.
okay, because we don't really know people in Argentina, so we want to see more of the life while we're
Oh, okay.
considering applying to Argentina.
I actually know a lady who came to Argentina, not on a student visa, but on a work visa. She's Nigerian. So she has TikTok, I think Facebook. So I can share her profile with
Okay,
you guys
please,
later as
please do.
well. So yeah,
Okay,
she's
thank you very
more,
much.
she's a more social media person than me.
Okay, okay, that would be nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you very much. Oh, some people still asked a few questions. Somebody said, "What is the cost of studying Spanish at public universities in Argentina?"
Because the public university, like I said, the Spanish and public university is not like a degree program. The visa you get for that program is a transitory visa, which will not allow you to be able to apply for citizenship later. So, yeah, I'm here.
Oh, for like short term.
So you can come here to study on a transit visa to study Spanish, but the embassy will not really give much importance to that because they may not really trust you. They think you have an ulterior motive. So the best is just to come here to study a degree, not just something transitory. So that's why I said it's better to start learning Spanish now. Or if you don't want to start learning Spanish now, just come in with a university that allows you to come in without knowing any Spanish and will teach you Spanish. So, but coming here to just for the sole purpose of studying Spanish It's just like coming here as a tourist. So I will not really advise that. So that's
Okay, so okay. All right. Thank you so much.
yeah,
All right. Bye-bye. Enjoy the
you're
rest of your
welcome.
day. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, everybody, you've
Uh,
heard
does
from,
the
or
same
you've
thing
all
go for
heard.
Mexico? Does the same thing go for Mexico? For
Oh,
Mexico,
someone asked
we
me.
need to have another chat for Mexico because Mexico is an entirely different country from Argentina. Today is just for Argentina. So some other day we'll talk about Mexico. It is good to divide because this call is recorded. So if you want to learn about Argentina, you go to this video. If you want to learn about Mexico, you go to the Mexico video. So I would not like to mix it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I said thank you so much like multiple times now, but thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'm really grateful that you were able to join us, and to everyone who has participated. You heard from him. The major perks of choosing to study in Argentina are public education is free. So if you do language maybe for 1 year, or maybe if you maybe extend it to like maybe 2 years, then after your language studies, you can now move on to maybe studying at a public university for free, or maybe you can get a job, because I mean, the major barrier to an economy would be you not knowing the language. And in a country like Argentina, where Spanish is the end all be all, then you will be on the losing end if you are not willing to learn Spanish, and you will increase your chances of success by learning Spanish. So regardless of what you do, whether you choose to start learning Spanish from Nigeria or you start learning from um Argentina, it doesn't matter. At least you learn and open yourself to the opportunities that are available in Argentina. Yeah, one more opportunity that we did not mention was you can actually come with your family to Argentina. I personally have confirmed this with the consulate or the embassy myself. I contacted them and asked them a few questions about bringing your family, and they told us what to do and all that. Usually you would be able to come with your spouse, your aged parents, and also you'll be able to come with your children under the age of 18. So if you are older and you have children that are above 18, maybe they should just apply for studies themselves and you can apply on your own. Well, that's it for the studying aspects of Argentina. Another time we would bring someone who does other types of visas for like Latin America in particular. We're already in the talks with this person for like they do it for different countries. So we are going to bring them on and partner with them so that we can help Nigerians move to Latin America, the hidden and the unexplored destination of the world. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining. I wish you a very pleasant month of May, and hopefully you're able to join our future sessions. Bye bye.